I didn't order anything. That's what I checked first. Not the label, not the box. My memory. I stood at the door, looking down. At the package. It was small. Plain. No branding. No markings, except one, my name, printed clearly. Correctly. Exactly as it should be. I didn't touch it. Not immediately, because something felt off. Not dangerous. Not wrong. Just ahead, like I had missed something. I looked around. The hallway was empty. No delivery person. No sound. No movement. Just a box, already there. I bent down, slowly. Carefully. As if it might react. But it didn't. Single quotes. It just sat there. Waiting. I picked it up. It was light. Too light. Almost empty, but not completely. Something inside. Not moving, just present. I stepped inside. Closed the door, placed the box on the table, and stepped back. Because now I wasn't sure what I was looking at. I checked my phone. Orders. Nothing. Recent purchases. Nothing. Emails. Nothing. I frowned. Then said quietly, I didn't order this. The room didn't respond. Of course. It was just a box. I walked closer, looked at it again, then noticed something new. The label, not just my name. A TIMESTMP. Small. Printed beneath it. I leaned in. Read it carefully. Order. Time. 1842. I froze, because I knew the time. I checked my phone. 1758. I stared at the label again. Then at the time. Then said quietly, that hasn't happened yet. The silence held, but the meaning stayed. I stepped back. Because now, this wasn't a mistake. This wasn't someone else's package. This was something from later. I sat down, still looking at it, trying to understand. Then slowly, I reached for it. Placed my hand on the box. It felt normal. Cardboard. Slightly worn edges. Nothing unusual. I tapped it lightly. A soft sound from inside. Something small. Solid. I pulled my hand away, because now I wasn't sure if I should open it. I looked at the label again. At the time. Then said, if I open it now, and stopped, because the thought didn't finish. I stood up, walked away from the table, then back again. The box didn't change. Still there. Still waiting. Still ahead. I checked the time again. 1801. I looked at the label. 1842. 41 minutes. I sat down again and waited. Not for anything specific. Just to see. Because now there was only one question. What happens when I reach that time? I looked at the box, then quietly said, do I order it? The silence didn't answer, but something inside me felt like it already had. I didn't open it. Not yet. Because now, it wasn't just a package. It was a point in time, and I hadn't reached it. I sat at the table, looking at the box. At the label. At the time. 1842. I checked my phone again. 1805. Still early. Still before. I leaned back, tried to think, tried to remember if I had planned to order something. Anything. But nothing came. No idea. No intention. Just the box. Already here. I stood up, walked away, then stopped, because something felt wrong. Not the box. The thought, the idea that I would order it. I turned back, looked at it again, then said quietly, what if I don't? The silence held, but the question stayed. Because now that mattered. If the package already existed, did the order have to happen, or was it already decided? I walked back to the table, looked closer at the label, then noticed something new. Beneath the time, another line. Faint. Almost invisible. I leaned in. Read it. Status. Confirmed. I froze. Because that meant the order wasn't just scheduled. It was done. I checked my phone again. Orders. Still nothing. I refreshed. Again. Nothing. I frowned. And said, not yet. The words felt wrong. Because now there was a contradiction. The system said it was confirmed. My phone said it didn't exist, and the box was already here. I sat down again, staring at it. Then slowly, I reached out, not to open it. Just to turn it. I rotated the box slightly and saw the other side. Another label. Smaller. Handwritten. I leaned closer. Read it. Don't open before ordering. I pulled my hand back. Immediately. Because now this wasn't just a head. It was instructing me. I stood up, walked away again, breathing slower. Because now this felt different, not just something from the future, something that knew what I would do. Or what I should do. I checked the time. 18:11. Still not there. I looked at my phone. Opened the shopping app. Scrolled. Random items. Nothing familiar. Nothing that matched the box. I stopped. Because now a new thought appeared. What if I'm supposed to find it? Not wait. Not remember. Search. I looked at the box. Then back at my phone. Then said quietly, "What did I order?" The silence didn't respond. But the question stayed. Because now it wasn't just about time. It was about choice. If the order was already confirmed, then somewhere I had already chosen. I scrolled again, slower this time, more carefully, looking for something that felt familiar. Then I stopped. An item. No image. No description. Just a PLACEHOLDR. Blank. But the button said reorder. I froze. Because that meant I had already ordered it. Before. I tapped it. A page. Open. Loading. Then nothing. Just text. You will confirm this at 18:42. I stared at the screen. Then slowly looked back at the box. Then said quietly, "You're waiting for me." Not to open. To decide. I checked the time again. 18:18. 24 minutes. I sat down. Hands still. Phone in front of me. Box on the table. And for the first time, I realized something else. The package wasn't early. I didn't touch the box. Not after that. Because now it wasn't just ahead of me. It belonged to someone else. I sat there. Looking at it. Then at my phone. Then back again. The same objects. The same room. But something felt misaligned. Like I was out of place. Not in the wrong location. In the wrong moment. I checked the time again. 18:21. Still not there. Still before. I leaned back, closed my eyes, tried to imagine it. 18:42. That exact moment. What would I be doing? Where would I be? Sitting? What would I feel? And more importantly, why would I order it? I opened my eyes, looked at the box again. Then said quietly, "What did I know then?" The silence held, but the question stayed. Because now this wasn't about the package. It was about the version of me that had already decided. I stood up, walked around the room, slowly, trying to feel something different, trying to become closer to that version. But nothing changed. The room was the same. The box was the same. I was the same. Or at least I thought I was. I stopped, looked at my hands, then said, "What if I'm not there yet?" The words felt strange, but correct. I walked back to the table, sat down again, looked at the phone. The page was still open. You will confirm this. At 18:42, I didn't touch it. Because now I wasn't sure I should. If I pressed anything now, would it match or break it? I checked the time again. 18:27, 15 minutes. I looked at the box, then noticed something new. It wasn't exactly where I left it. Just slightly closer. I froze because I hadn't moved it. I leaned forward, measured it with my eyes. The edge of the table, the position. It was closer. Not much, but enough. I sat back slowly, then said quietly, "You're catching up." The silence didn't respond, but the meaning stayed. The time was approaching. And the box was adjusting. I checked the label again. Same time. 1842. Same status. Confirmed. I checked the phone again. Still nothing in orders. Still no record. But the reorder page was still open. Waiting. I looked at it. Then at the box. Then said, "We're getting closer." I didn't know what that meant. Not exactly, but I could feel it. Something aligning. Not physically, not visibly, but internally. I leaned back again, closed my eyes, and this time, I didn't try to imagine 1842. I just waited. Let the time pass. Naturally. Without forcing anything. Without trying to become that version. And slowly something shifted. Subtle. Almost. UNNOTICEABLE. A feeling, like a thought that wasn't fully formed yet, but familiar. Opened my eyes, looked at the box. And for a moment I felt like I knew it. Not what was inside, but why it was there. I frowned, because that feeling didn't belong to me. Not yet. I checked the time. 18:339 minutes. I looked at my hand. Then at the phone. Then at the box, and quietly said, "I'm getting closer to deciding." The silence held, but something was changing. Not the box, not the room. Me. Becoming the person who would press that button. I looked at the phone again. At the screen. At the words. And for the first time, my finger moved. Not fully, not pressing, just hovering. Because now I wasn't asking if I would do it. I was waiting until it felt like I already had. I didn't move my hand. Not yet. Because now it wasn't about pressing the button. It was about becoming the person who already had. I sat there. Still. Finger hovering over the screen. The words unchanged. "You will confirm this at 1842. I checked the time. 1836, 6 minutes. I exhaled. Slowly. Because now something felt different. Not outside. Inside. A shift. Small. But real. Like a thought that didn't belong to me before was now almost mine. I looked at the box. And this time, it didn't feel unfamiliar. It felt expected. I frowned. Because that shouldn't happen. I hadn't ordered it. I hadn't chosen it. And yet I wasn't questioning it anymore. I was remembering it. I leaned forward slightly, studied the box. The edges. The weight. The presence. And for a moment, I knew something. Not clearly, not fully, but enough. What was inside wasn't random. It was correct. I pulled back immediately, because that thought didn't belong to me. Not yet. I checked the time again. 1838, 4 minutes. I looked at my phone. At the button. At my hand, still hovering. Then slowly, I lowered it. Not pressing. Just closer. And as I did, the feeling grew. That same familiarity. That same quiet certainty. I whispered, "I've already done this." The silence held, but it felt true. Not in memory. In direction. Like I was moving towards something that had already happened. I stood up suddenly, stepped away from the table. Because now I needed to test something. I walked to the other side of the room, turned around, looked at the box, and waited. A second. 2. Then it shifted. Not much, just slightly, closer to the edge of the table. I froze, because I hadn't touched it. And yet, it had moved toward the moment. I stepped closer again. Slowly. Carefully. As if I might interrupt something. But nothing stopped. The box remained. Closer now. Aligned. I sat down again. Looked at the phone. Then at the time. 1842 minutes. I exhaled. Because now everything felt inevitable. Not forced. Not controlled. Just already decided. I looked at the screen. At the button. At the words. Then quietly said, "I don't need to choose." The silence held. But something inside me agreed. Because now the decision didn't feel like something ahead. It felt like something I was catching up to. I raised my hand again. Not hesitating. Not questioning. Just moving. Slowly. Toward the screen. Toward the button. Toward 1842. I checked the time. 1841, 1 minute. I didn't look away. Didn't blink. Just watched. Waited. Until everything aligned. The room. The box. The screen. And me. All in the same moment. All in the same decision. I whispered. Now. 1842. I didn't check the time. I felt it. That exact point. Where everything stopped being ahead and became now. My finger resting on the screen. No hesitation. No thought. No question. Because now there was nothing left to decide. I pressed. Not quickly. Not slowly. Just. Exactly. And the moment I did, the screen changed. No animation. No delay. Just text. Order confirmed. I exhaled. But something felt off. Not wrong. Not broken. Just already done. I looked at the box. Still on the table. Still in the same place. Then I noticed it. The label. I leaned closer. Carefully. And the time was gone. No 8:42. No. TIMESTMP. Just my name. And nothing else. I froze. Because now the box wasn't from the future anymore. It was normal. Or at least it should have been. I sat back. Looked at my phone. Orders. There. It was. One item. No image. No description. Just status. Delivered. Frowned. Then said quietly. Already? Already. Note might have been no image. No description. Just status. Delivered. Frowned. Said quietly. Already? Already. My phone. Orders. There it was. One item. No image. No description. Just status. Delivered. Said. Quietly? The silence held. But the meaning stayed. It hadn't just been ordered. It had already arrived. Again. I looked at the box. Then slowly, I reached for it. This time, without hesitation. Because now, there was nothing left to wait for. I pulled it closer. Placed both hands on it. Felt the surface. The edges. The weight. Still light. Still. Almost empty. But not completely. I paused. Then lifted the lid. Slowly. Carefully. As if something might change. If I rushed. But nothing did. The box opened. Quietly. Easily. And inside. There was something. Small. Simple. Familiar. I stared at it. Because I recognized it immediately. Not from before. From now. It was my phone. I froze. Because that wasn't possible. I looked down. My hand still holding my phone. Still warm. Still active. Then slowly, I looked back into the box. Another phone. Identical. Same model. Same case. Same screen. Lit. On. I leaned closer. Carefully. And read what was on it. A screen. A page. The same page. You will confirm this at 1842. I pulled back. Because now, that meant something else. That wasn't my past. That was still ahead. I looked at my phone again, then back at the one in the box. Then said quietly, it hasn't finished. The silence held, but the realization grew. This wasn't a single moment. It wasn't one decision. It was repeating. Looping. Extending. Each version of me reaching. 1842, pressing the button and receiving the next one. I looked at the box again. At the second phone. Then slowly, I reached for it. Not touching. Just hovering. Because now I understood something final. The package didn't arrive early. It arrived before I became the one who ordered it. And now I had. But that didn't end it. It moved it forward. I stepped back, left the box open, left the second phone inside, turned away, walked across the room, sat down. My phone still in my hand, still real, still mine. For now, check the time. 1843. I waited. Seconds passed, then the screen flickered. Not visibly, but enough. I opened the app again. The order, still there, still delivered. Then a new line appeared. Faint. Slowly forming. Next confirmation. Pending. I froze. Then said quietly, There's another. The silence didn't respond, but I didn't need it to, because now I knew there would always be another time, another version, another moment I hadn't reached yet. And somewhere it had already arrived. I looked at the box one last time, then at my phone, then whispered, I haven't ordered the last one yet. And that was the only reason it wasn't here, yet.